Marcus with Everything Greatness Boxing Podcast. Man, I had to pull up and give y'all my thoughts and a review on the fight last night. Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos. And honestly, I slept good. I watched the whole fight, but man, I was so tired watching that fight, man. It made me very sleepy. I finished the fight barely because I really wanted to see if De Los Santos was going to force a fight, and that never happened. They kind of just, Edwin did try to fight, but Shakur Stevenson is a track star, Olympian. That dude is really good at getting away from danger punches. He's slippery, but also boring. That is a fight I wouldn't pay for. Not just that fight, but that is a fighter that I wouldn't pay to see. I don't care. Well, I'll take that back. Only way I'll pay to see Shakur fight is if he's in a fight with Tank Davis or Lomachenko. I don't want to see him fight Devin Haney. I feel like that'll be a boring fight. I feel like that looks a lot like De Los Santos fight, the one we just watched. And that's because you're going to see Haney really chasing Shakur. You're going to see a lot of defense in that fight. Now, I do know Haney is a lot better than De Los Santos. I know he's a lot better IQ as far as cutting off the ring and not allowing Devin Haney to be that evasive. But also with that said, I know for sure Haney don't possess the power that De Los Santos possess. So in that fight, you'll see Shakur Stevenson take more chances. You'll see him fight. I take it back. It'd be probably a lot better fight than I'm giving it credit. But I wouldn't pay for that fight. And that's the moral of the story. And what I'm coming to realize, that's what's wrong with boxing. A lot of these big name fighters not willing to get in the ring with other big name fighters unless it's a plus for them, unless they're winning in the negotiations, unless that fighter is ranked higher than them and they will get higher ranking, unless it's a lot of money being offered for that fight, they not willing to take it. And that's what one up the UFC has on boxing. And man, I never wanted to admit that, but it is true. The UFC makes their top fighters fight the top fighters. And that's the moral of the story. In boxing, we don't get that. It takes years to get that number one versus that number two, or you know what I mean? And we get it at the decline of the careers when, it appears that they just chasing money, and boxing is failing its fans because of that. We need to make these fighters fight somehow if they want to be paid how they're being paid. And I don't have no problem with boxers making all this money or UFC making all this money or whatever, but I do think in order to get something, you have to give something, and you're getting the money but not giving the fight, and that's not fair to the fans. And that's me speaking from a fan point of view. The fight. There's not much to say about the fight because it was boring. Another thing I want to touch on is the commentary. Man, I watched that whole fight. And after every round, they talk about how good Shakur was and how he was hitting Edwin and not getting hit. And I honestly can say, I didn't see that. I wasn't seeing that same fight. I felt like neither one of them was throwing and neither one of them was scoring, not too much. But when I look at the punches landed and the punches thrown, and I watched this fight round by round, and I can't see what they're seeing. A lot of those rounds were, you just had to guess, pick one. Like, that's how I felt. But when you look at the scorecard and everybody else's opinion, it was all Shakur Stevenson, and I didn't see that kind of performance. I didn't see that all Shakur Stevenson's. What I witnessed was it being neither one of them. It's funny because I would have been okay with a draw. That's if y'all both could lose, that's what I would have gave y'all, honestly, 2 L's. I don't know how that could work, but we need to have a draw for 2 losses instead of, it being 2 wins. I looked at it as 2 wins. This shit need to look at it as 2 losses. Y'all both got a draw for losses, for L's. I know you can't do that, but everybody lost that night, last night. The fans lost. Shakur Stevenson lost. Edwin De Los Santos lost because he didn't get the fight that he wanted. He definitely could have pushed for that fight a little more, pushed in that fight a little more, like he was trying a little harder. And what gets me, honestly, is these fighter antics, like clowning another fighter inside the ring, turning in circles. Yeah, we see him running, but all your antics ain't making you look no better because you're not doing nothing either. Like, chase some shit. I don't know what to tell you, but do something. You look uninterested in fighting with somebody that's running. I get it, but you're getting paid a lot of money, and it's a lot of people out there to see you, and you can make a huge difference if you put forth the effort. And I didn't see that. For a fighter in that magnitude of a fight, trying to launch his career, you expect more. And for a fighter that jumps into rings after other fighters' victories, speaking on Shakur, I think that's low class. And I know a lot of people do it to get them big fights. And what's crazy to me, you did all that to get the big fights, and you didn't get the big fights. And you get out of this fight and they ask you what's next and who's next, and you speak on your bad performance, and you don't want to call out no names because of your performance. And I understand that, I get it, but keep that energy. Keep that same energy that you had before. You know what I'm saying? Like, call them fighters out. If anything, they didn't want to fight you before after a bad performance. They definitely want to fight you. They more interested in fighting because they don't think you possess what you claim you possess. And that makes sense. You got to understand why that happens. So at this point, take the 10%. I'm looking at Haney on Instagram or Twitter, whatever he's on, and he's talking about how you wasn't even worth the 10%. But my thought on that, if you're a champion and you really don't want to fight a person, and you throw some money out there just to see if they decline it, hoping they do decline it. If you're on that other side and that other fighter got all the cards in their hand and you want that, you gotta take what you can get. Take that 10%. Take that 10%. Beat his butt. Walk him. And guess what? If he want that rematch, because a lot of times in a 90-10 negotiating, they'll have a rematch clause in the contract. So take that 10%. The next fight, it'll definitely be the money you looking for. And aside from that, the cards will be in your hand, and you got the control. And ultimately, as a boxer, that's what you want, the control. You want the cards in your hand, and that's what everybody worked toward. So you got to take those risks. Listen, in betting and gambling and in life, like, the biggest risk you take is the more the reward, and you got to put yourself out there and go get it. But all in all, man, I give Shakur Stevenson, I give him a C+ in that performance, because his defense, as always, was immaculate. He just didn't show us no offense, no power, no combinations, no no effort. One thing he always show is defense and not getting hit with no big shots. We can definitely count on that from Shakur Stevenson. What I would like to see and what I want, man, I want y'all to come in and let me know what y'all think, what y'all saw. Who is a good fight for Shakur Stevenson to display all of his attributes? Y'all let me know, because I'm really curious. Again, I wouldn't pay to see this man fight unless he was fighting Tank Davis, and that's only because I'm paying to watch Tank Davis. That's my truth, man. That's my truth, man. Y'all subscribe, y'all come rock out with your boy, because I am just starting. I told you, I'm green at this, but I won't always be green. Listen, y'all come rock out with me. Stay down. This is Everything Greatness Boxing Podcast. One love, man. It's been good. Y'all stay up.